Over the past few weeks, fans of Day Fiancé have been increasingly concerned about Jenny Slatten after noticing what appeared to be slurred speech in several recent appearances. Social media quickly filled with speculation, theories, and worry, with many viewers questioning whether the longtime reality TV star was facing a serious health issue. Now, for the first time, Jenny Slatten's daughter has stepped forward in a recent interview to address those concerns directly, offering clarity, context, and a much-needed health update that has reassured many fans. Jenny Slatten has been a familiar face to Day Fiancé audiences for years. Her unconventional love story, emotional vulnerability, and willingness to share her life on camera made her one of the franchise's most talked-about personalities. Because of that visibility, even subtle changes in her appearance or behavior are quickly noticed by viewers who feel a strong connection to her journey. When clips surfaced showing Jenny speaking more slowly or with noticeable slurring, fans immediately began asking questions. Some viewers expressed genuine concern, pointing out that slurred speech can sometimes be a symptom of serious medical conditions, including neurological issues or medication side effects. Others speculated online, drawing conclusions without facts, which only intensified the discussion. As rumors spread, many fans called for someone close to Jenny to clarify what was really going on. That moment finally came when Jenny's daughter addressed the issue publicly. In the interview, Jenny's daughter made it clear that while the concern from fans was understandable, much of the speculation had gone too far. She explained that Jenny has been dealing with ongoing health challenges that are not new, but that have become more noticeable due to age, stress, and the physical toll of years of travel and filming. According to her daughter, the slurred speech that fans noticed was not the result of a sudden medical emergency, nor was it connected to any life-threatening condition. She explained that Jenny has been managing a combination of fatigue and medication-related side effects. Like many people in her age group, Jenny takes prescribed medications that can sometimes affect speech clarity, especially when combined with exhaustion or dehydration. On days when Jenny is particularly tired or stressed, her speech may sound slower or slightly slurred, which can easily be misinterpreted by viewers watching short clips online. Jenny's daughter also emphasized how emotionally draining it can be for her mother to live so much of her life under public scrutiny. Being constantly discussed, analyzed, and judged on social media has had an undeniable impact on Jenny's mental and emotional well-being. Stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion can all influence how someone speaks and presents themselves, especially during interviews or public appearances. She went on to say that Jenny is under regular medical supervision and that her doctors are aware of her symptoms. According to her daughter, Jenny has not been diagnosed with any new or alarming medical condition. Instead, her health issues are being actively managed and she continues to follow her doctor's advice closely. The family felt it was important to clarify this because of how quickly misinformation can spread online. Another point Jenny's daughter addressed was the role editing plays in how viewers perceive reality TV stars. Short video clips taken out of context and shared on social media can exaggerate moments that would otherwise go unnoticed. A single sentence spoken during a tired moment can become a viral talking point, even if the person was perfectly fine before and after that clip. She also spoke about how protective the family is of Jenny, especially as she gets older. While they appreciate the love and concern from fans, they hope viewers remember that Jenny is a real person, not just a television character. Public speculation about someone's health, especially when based on incomplete information, can be emotionally harmful. Jenny herself, according to her daughter, has been deeply touched by the concern shown by fans around the world. She understands that the worry comes from a place of care and affection. At the same time, she finds it difficult to see people jump to worst-case scenarios about her health. That emotional strain can sometimes make appearances even more challenging, creating a cycle that feeds further speculation. The interview also touched on Jenny's current lifestyle. These days, she is prioritizing rest, routine, and balance more than ever. While she remains active and engaged, she is learning to slow down and listen to her body. Her daughter said this phase of life is about maintaining quality of life rather than constantly pushing herself to meet public expectations. Fans were especially relieved to hear that Jenny is not facing any immediate danger and that her condition is stable. The daughter's calm and transparent explanation helped counter the fear-driven narratives that had taken hold online. Many viewers responded positively, thanking her for stepping in and clearing the air. This situation has also sparked a broader conversation about how audiences interact with reality TV personalities. Jenny's experience highlights the thin line between concern and intrusion. While viewers often feel personally invested in the lives of stars they've followed for years, it's important to approach sensitive topics like health with empathy and restraint. Jenny Slatten's journey has always been one of resilience. From navigating a cross-cultural relationship to enduring public criticism and personal setbacks, she has shown strength time and again. This latest chapter is no different. With the support of her family and medical team, she continues to move forward one day at a time. Her daughter's decision to speak out wasn't about silencing fans, but about grounding the conversation in truth. In a digital age where speculation spreads faster than facts, moments like this remind us how valuable honest communication can be. As of now, Jenny is doing okay. She is aware of the conversations happening around her and hopes fans will continue to support her with kindness rather than fear. Her family remains by her side and they are committed to protecting her well-being both physically and emotionally. For fans who have followed Jenny's story from the beginning, this update offers reassurance and perspective. Aging, health changes, and emotional stress are realities many people face, whether they are on television or not. Jenny's situation serves as a reminder that compassion should always come before assumptions. As more updates emerge in the future, one thing remains clear. Jenny Slatten is not facing this moment alone. With her daughter's support and her fans' continued love, she is navigating this chapter with honesty and strength. If you've been concerned about Jenny, her daughter's message is simple and reassuring. Jenny is being cared for. She is aware of her health and she is doing her best. Sometimes that's all anyone can do. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll continue to bring you respectful, accurate updates on the story. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're picking up right where the story leaves off, because after weeks of fans asking the same worried question, we finally got the closest thing to an answer we're going to get right now. And it didn't come from a random comment section, it didn't come from a blurry clip, and it didn't come from people guessing online. It came from Jenny Slatten's daughter, speaking publicly and directly about what viewers have been noticing. Now, if you've been following this story, you already know why it got so big so fast. A few short clips started circulating online. In those clips, Jenny's speech sounded slower than usual, and in a couple moments, it sounded slightly slurred. And once people see something like that, especially with someone they've watched for years, the concern turns into a storm. Some fans were genuinely worried. Others went straight into theory mode. And before you know it, the conversation isn't just "is she okay?" It turns into "something terrible is happening," even when nobody actually knows. So today we're breaking down what was said, what it likely means in real life, why the internet reacts this way, and what fans should take from this update going forward. And I'm going to say this right up front, we're not diagnosing anyone here, and we're not playing doctor. We're sticking to what was shared publicly, and we're talking about it with basic human respect. Because whether you like Jenny, love Jenny, or you've criticized her at times, she's still a real person. And health speculation can get ugly fast. Alright, let's get into it. For years, Jenny has been one of those reality TV personalities who feels familiar to viewers. You've seen her at her best and at her worst. You've seen her emotional, hopeful, frustrated, heartbroken, and determined. She's not a background character. She's someone the audience watches closely, because she's always worn her feelings on her face. That's why even small changes don't go unnoticed. A new tone, a different energy, a tired look in the eyes, a shift in the way she speaks, people catch it immediately. And that's exactly what happened here. When the clip started spreading, a lot of fans responded in a way that honestly makes sense. Slurred speech can be linked to many things, some of them serious. So the first reaction for many people was not gossip, it was fear. It was, wait, is she having a health crisis? It was, is she okay? It was, someone check on her. But then the internet does what the internet always does. Fear turns into speculation. Speculation turns into certainty. And certainty spreads faster than facts. Suddenly, people weren't asking questions anymore. They were making statements. They were throwing out worst-case scenarios. And the more dramatic the comment, the more attention it got. Meanwhile, the calm voices saying "we don't know, let's not assume" got drowned out, because calm doesn't go viral. That's why the daughter stepping in mattered. Because fans weren't just asking for an update, they were basically begging for one. They wanted to know if Jenny was safe. And they wanted someone credible to say it, not someone chasing clicks. In the interview, Jenny's daughter didn't come out swinging at fans. She didn't mock the concern. She didn't act like people were crazy for noticing. She basically acknowledged what everyone could already see. Yes, Jenny has had moments where her speech didn't sound the same. And yes, it's understandable that people would worry. But then she drew a line. She said the speculation went too far. And that part is important, because it's the difference between caring about someone and turning them into a headline. According to her daughter, what fans have been noticing is not the result of a sudden, terrifying medical emergency. It's not some secret new diagnosis that they've been hiding. It's not a crisis situation. She explained that Jenny has been dealing with ongoing health challenges that have been present for a while, but that they've become more noticeable due to a few very real-life factors: age, stress, and the physical toll that comes with constant travel, constant filming, and constant pressure. And when she got specific, she pointed to two main things: fatigue and medication side effects. Now, if you've ever been around someone who's exhausted, truly exhausted, you know it can change everything. The way they talk, the way they move, their focus, their facial expressions, their pace. And if you mix exhaustion with dehydration, or stress, or anxiety, or even just a long day, it can show in someone's voice. Add medications into the mix, and the effect can become even more noticeable. Her daughter said Jenny takes prescribed medications, and sometimes those medications can affect speech clarity, especially when Jenny is tired or not fully rested. She explained that when Jenny hits a point of exhaustion, her speech might slow down, and in certain moments, it might sound slightly slurred. And when that's clipped down to a few seconds and posted online with a dramatic caption, people assume the worst. That was basically the core explanation. And whether you're a fan or not, that explanation is believable because it's normal. It's not glamorous, but it's real life. A lot of people deal with medication effects. A lot of people deal with fatigue that shows physically. And a lot of people don't realize how much travel and stress can drain you until you live it. But the daughter didn't stop there. She also talked about the emotional side of it, and this is the part that some people don't want to hear because it forces them to look in the mirror. She said that being constantly discussed, analyzed, and judged online has affected Jenny's mental and emotional well-being. And honestly, how could it not? Imagine waking up and seeing strangers debating your health like it's a sports match. Imagine seeing people decide what's happening to you based on a 5-second clip. Imagine reading comments that jump straight to disaster and treat you like you're already gone. That's not just internet noise. That can mess with your head. Stress affects the body. Anxiety affects the body. Emotional exhaustion affects the body. And yes, those things can affect how someone presents themselves in public, especially during interviews, especially under pressure, especially when they know the internet is waiting to freeze frame every moment. The daughter also said Jenny is under regular medical supervision. Doctors are aware of her symptoms, and she has not been diagnosed with any new alarming condition. The family felt it was important to say that clearly, because misinformation spreads fast and once a rumor is out there, it's hard to pull it back. Then she made another point that a lot of reality TV viewers forget: editing and context matter. People see a short clip and they treat it like a full picture. But a single moment can be misleading. A person might have been totally fine before and after the clip, but that one tired sentence gets isolated and replayed 1,000 times. And once it goes viral, it becomes proof of whatever theory people want to push. And this is where the conversation gets tricky. Because fans can genuinely care, and still cause harm. A lot of viewers feel connected to Jenny because they've watched her for years. They've seen her go through pain. They've seen her try to rebuild her life. They've watched her relationships, her struggles, her emotional breakdowns, and her moments of strength. So when they think something is wrong, they panic the way you would panic about someone you know. But the internet is not a private group chat. When that panic happens publicly, it becomes a pile-on. It becomes invasive. It becomes a storyline. And that's what the daughter was trying to stop. She wasn't saying, "Don't care about my mom." She was saying, "Care, but don't turn it into a circus." Now, according to her daughter, Jenny has actually been touched by the concern. She understands that a lot of the worry comes from a place of love. But at the same time, it's hard for her to see people jumping to worst-case conclusions, especially when she's already trying to manage her health and her stress. That emotional strain can make public appearances harder, which can create a cycle. She appears tired, people panic, the panic stresses her out, she appears more drained next time, and the cycle repeats. That's the real danger here. Not the clip itself. The cycle. And then the interview touched on something that might be the most important part of all: Jenny's lifestyle right now. Her daughter said Jenny is prioritizing rest, routine, and balance more than ever. She's still active. She's still engaged. But she's learning to slow down and listen to her body. She's not trying to push herself the way she used to. This phase of life is about maintaining quality of life instead of running herself into the ground to meet expectations from the public. And if you're a long-time fan, that should actually be reassuring. Because it means the family is thinking long-term. They're not chasing appearances for the sake of appearances. They're choosing stability. Now, after that interview hit, a lot of fans reacted with relief. People thanked the daughter for speaking up. Some apologized for how intense the speculation got. Others said they wished more families would address rumors like this quickly before things spiral. But of course, Not everyone reacted perfectly. Some people still wanted more details. What medications? What health issues? Why is she still filming? Is she hiding something? And this is where we have to be honest. The public is not owed every detail. Fans can care. Fans can worry. Fans can support. But nobody is entitled to Jenny's private medical information. The daughter gave what she felt comfortable giving, a general explanation that the symptoms are being managed, that doctors are involved, and that it's not a sudden life-threatening situation. That's a reasonable boundary. Because once you start feeding the internet every detail, it doesn't calm the internet down. It often makes it worse. People twist it, misunderstand it, and weaponize it. So what should fans take from this update? Here's the clean takeaway. Jenny is being cared for, she's being monitored medically, and what people noticed is being linked to fatigue and medication side effects, not a sudden emergency. That's the update. And honestly, it's a reminder of something bigger that's happening across reality TV right now. People feel closer than ever to public figures, but the relationship is still one way. Viewers watch someone's life, and they start to feel like they personally know them. But they don't see the full context. They don't see the off-camera days. They don't see the exhaustion after filming. They don't see what happens when the cameras leave and the person is just trying to recover. So when we see a moment that looks off, we have to hold back just a little. Ask questions, sure. Express support, absolutely. But don't turn concern into conclusions. And don't let the worst voices online convince you that fear is the same thing as truth. Now, the next thing people are asking is, what happens next? Because the daughter's interview calmed things down, but it also opened the door to a new conversation. Is the show environment itself contributing to Jenny's stress? Are there too many appearances? Too much travel? Too much pressure to perform for the audience? And this is where I want to get real for a second. Reality TV doesn't always treat people like people. It treats them like content. And even when someone chooses to be on TV, it doesn't mean they deserve to be pushed past their limits. If Jenny is at a stage where rest and routine matter more than ever, then the healthiest thing for her might be less public exposure, not more. But we also have to remember, people have contracts, people have financial responsibilities, and sometimes stepping back is not as simple as just take a break. There are real-life consequences. So if you're a fan, the best way to support Jenny right now might actually be the simplest. Stop spreading clips that frame her health like a mystery. Stop sharing those "something is wrong" captions. Stop feeding the panic machine. Support looks like kindness. Support looks like patience. Support looks like letting a person breathe. Because if the daughter's message was simple, it was this: Jenny is doing okay. She's not alone. She's being cared for. She's managing. And sometimes that's all you can ask for. Now, in the next part, we're going to talk about the bigger ripple effect. How the fandom reaction became the story. How short-form clips create false narratives. And why this happens so often with reality TV stars as they get older and the audience starts watching them like they're under a microscope. We'll also break down what respectful coverage should look like from this point forward, especially when health rumors start trending again, because you know they will. So if you're still here, drop a comment. Do you think fans crossed the line, or do you think the concern was justified based on what was seen? Keep it respectful. No insults, no cruel jokes, no doctor comments. Just your honest opinion. Alright, let's continue. One of the reasons this story spread so fast is because it hit a very specific nerve. Slurred speech is one of those things people associate with immediate danger. And when viewers see it, they don't just think tired. They think emergency. That's why it triggers panic so quickly. But the internet doesn't slow down enough to consider the full list of possibilities. It skips straight to the scariest option because the scariest option gets the most attention. And when you mix that with a fan base that already feels emotionally connected, the speculation becomes a kind of group anxiety. And group anxiety can look like support, but it can also look like obsession. That's the line Jenny's daughter was trying to point out. Because once people start obsessively replaying clips, zooming in on facial expressions, comparing one interview to another, it stops being concern. It becomes surveillance. And no one deserves to be surveilled. Not for entertainment. Not for "we're just worried." Not for content. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't talk about what they see. If someone appears different, it's natural to notice. But there's a huge difference between noticing and building a storyline that someone has to live under. If you've ever had a rough day and someone comments on your voice sounding off, you know how self-conscious it can make you. Now imagine millions of people doing that at once, and some of them acting like they know more than you do about your own body. That's why this update matters. It puts a ceiling on the rumors. It doesn't answer every curiosity, but it gives enough to stop the runaway train. And here's another thing. The daughter made it clear Jenny's health challenges are not brand new. They've been there. They've just become more noticeable. That's also normal. Aging doesn't always happen quietly. Sometimes it shows up in small ways first. Sometimes it's a slower step. Sometimes it's needing more rest. Sometimes it's a voice that sounds different on some days. And when you've been on TV for years, the audience has a before version of you permanently stored in their minds. So any change feels bigger. But change doesn't always mean disaster.